It's a long, sad goodbye, a slow dying of the light inside our minds. 1 in 8 Americans over the age of 65 will eventually develop Alzheimer's disease, a mysterious illness that erases the memories of a lifetime, like a dark cloud obscuring your personal history.
There's been an exponential increase in our understanding of what causes Alzheimer's disease, how we can target it, and how we can treat it.
It really is miraculous that in a short period of time, which is really 25 years, and we know a lot about the disease.
We are at the brink of controlling one of the major diseases affecting world health.
We do have the research scientists, we do have the knowledge, and I think we can beat Alzheimer's disease.
Let's skip the charades. Can we just speak plain? I'm 2 left feet when I'm home. We tap dance on.
We heard some encouraging news today about the battle against one of the cruelest diseases. There's a new clue to the mystery of how Alzheimer's disease spreads in the brain.
Of a protein called tau, thought to play a role in memory loss. Researchers genetically engineered mice with tau in their brains and then mapped its spread over 22 months. As the mice aged, tau spread from cell to cell, destroying them as it moved.
When I took the brain out and made this picture, we saw 2 spherical deposits of protein called amyloid plaques. These are big conglomerations of protein.
A new class of drugs is being tested, aimed at clearing amyloid.
Alzheimer's is a disease affecting millions here in the U.S. The fight to cure it has been long and challenging. Now, new setbacks in curing the disease are forcing scientists to change their approach.
Approaches to fighting Alzheimer's that seemed to work in mice but didn't translate to humans. Clearly, much more research is needed, but that's not dimming any hope of the scientists tonight.
Chopped up in the brain. It was hoped that this drug would make less of the toxic form of the protein, and at least initial results suggest that it did its biologically relevant activity, but unfortunately didn't result in any clinical improvement, and in fact resulted in some clinical deterioration in the group that received the drug.
I first met Mike and Carol in 2008. She was starting an experimental drug.
Let me ask you a question. How old are you?
65.
When we visited her nearly 2 years later, it was clear the therapy had failed.
How old are you?
How old am I? 80? No, I don't know.
And this afternoon,
how old are you?
Oh, no.
The cruel fact is, Alzheimer's patients don't get better.
Don't drink too much alcohol, don't smoke, avoid or treat depression, and then if you have hypertension, diabetes, or high cholesterol, get that effectively treated. All those things that you think about to prevent a heart attack will also protect your brain. The only difference is, obviously, we think with our brains, and we need to keep ourselves mentally active through social engagement or continuing work that keeps our brains plastic and growing.
More than
life.
5 million Americans were living with Alzheimer's in 2010, and by 2050, it could be as many as 16 million.
It was more than 9 years ago that Mr. Reagan revealed he'd been diagnosed with Alzheimer's, adding in a handwritten letter, "I only wish there was some way I could spare Nancy from this painful experience." Just last month at a fundraising dinner, Mrs. Reagan spoke of her nearly decade-long anguish.
Ronnie's long journey has finally taken him to a distant place. where I can no longer reach him. We can't share the wonderful memories of our 52 years together, and I think that's probably the hardest
right
part.
Now she understands what we're saying?
Sometimes she understands. When I talk to her, she smiles. When I tell her I love her.
What was it about her, Grandmary Fran, that made you fall in love with her?
Well, she was a pretty little girl, and I didn't have any other girlfriends, and so I fell in love with her. I guess it's on sight. I've been in love with her ever since.
Is there a hope for a cure or a better course of treatment? The search for those is a bit like the way the disease progresses, agonizingly slow.
2003, that he was confronted with his own personal battle, a diagnosis of Alzheimer's.
We struggled like so many families here with learning about medication and caregiving, with issues of our father's diminishing independence, trying to tell him why he could no longer give speeches about public service.
In the darkness of the disease, Shriver found light through spirituality and prayer.
He still goes to Mass every day, and believe it or not, he still remembers the Hail Mary, but he doesn't remember me, Maria. I'd be lying if I didn't admit that that still makes me cry.
The legendary coach of Tennessee's Lady Vols for 38 seasons has now revealed she has been diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's at the age of only 59.
Whatever else history may say about me when I'm gone, I hope it will record that I appealed to your best hopes, not your worst fears, to your confidence rather than your doubts. Goodbye, and God bless each and every one of you, and God bless this country we love.
New experimental drugs may be able to slow or stop the progression of damage with early detection and treatment. And a healthy lifestyle may help as well. There's no cure for Alzheimer's, but there is hope. Tonight, we'll introduce you to some of the people helping to keep that light inside burning bright, the memories that make us who we are.